All right, guys, this is the property up in Alamucci I was telling you about. It's a little over 2 acres. On the left here, you're going to see your street view, and then over here you see your aerial view or satellite view, whatever you want to call it. And this is the Tracy Sod Farm over there, and this is Alfano Road, and the lot is right in this area. So really nice wooded lot. Here's the listing. As you can see, it's listed for a good price, $30,000. And it's just under 2.5 acres. I did a little bit of research on it. Now, lots sometimes when you have them for sale, you have a couple different scenarios. Sometimes you'll have a builder who's gone through the process and gotten everything approved, and then they try to sell it, make a little profit that way. Or sometimes people will try to sell it in its raw state, and you'd be responsible for doing all that. A lot of times anyway, you're still going to have to do a lot of this stuff anyway, so sometimes it's actually better to get them in its raw state, as long as you have an engineer kind of do a preliminary site view of the property, because there are some laws in New Jersey you got to be aware of. I did the preliminaries, and as far as the town goes and the zoning, it has all the requirements. It would just have to pass then the secondary, which would be then with state level stuff like, for example, there's a steep slope ordinance. And it looks like based on this picture, it might have a slight little pitch to it, but again, I have not seen this property physically, so we'd have to have an engineer go do a little drive-by to see if that's possible. It doesn't actually look like, based on the blown-up picture, though, that it would exceed the steep slope. It's only a gradual, and that can actually be leveled off with excavation. So what I want to do in the next slides here is kind of show you an example of what's possible. Now, on a basic level, this is one that we did recently, and this is, you can consider this a ranch or a Cape Cod style. It has what's called a 9/12 pitch, so we can go all the way up to a 12/12 pitch. And to give you an idea of what a 12/12 pitch is if you ever seen like the chalet style, where it's really high pitch, 9/12 pitch, you'll still get about 7-foot ceilings up at the top in the dormer there. Now, in this example, they wanted to keep a budget. So they have 2 bedrooms downstairs right now, 1.5 baths. And, we stuck to the more basic plan. We added this little dormer, and then they're going to finish off on site and put, a nice, put the stone pillars out here and close this. And when it's done, it's going to look really nice. But, sky's the limit on what you can do with customizing these things. From the factory, by the way, go off on a side note, obviously this is a modular construction. You can really get creative on what you can do from the factory. I know a lot of times what we do in scenarios like this is we'll maintain something like this, but maybe condense it a little bit smaller. Instead of encompassing both those windows, this little bump out here would encompass really just the door. And then it would be bumped out the same size as this, and then that could also be used as interior closets. And then on the front here, a lot of times we'll put stone for a decorative touch, and the combination of a nice earthy tone siding. You can even do cedar shake siding, which is what is up here, up on the top ridge here. If you notice, it looks like cedar siding. That's actually vinyl. But if you do a combination, I think a great look is the that look, the cedar, vinyl cedar shakes on this side, and then the focal point would be this area, which could be stone. So, a lot of different things you can do. Here's some pictures of the inside. They opted to go with a butcher block counter, and then the granite in the back. And then they stuck with the basic 30-inch cabinets. But again, you can upgrade to the 42-inch cabinets for really not that much more. And majority of the ones we do that. But they were on a pretty strict budget, and they didn't want to go too crazy. And these aren't hardwood floors. Those are laminate. But most of the times when I'm doing these, we do the hardwood on site. But you can also get them done from the factory. Just sometimes I have a good contractor I work with that does them for much cheaper than the factory does them, so that's why we do that. But this one, the ones you're seeing there are laminate, and those are installed from the factory. And by the way, these houses, they come 100% like you see here. And it usually takes about a month or so to build in the factory, and then they get delivered, depending upon the size, in a couple pieces. This particular one got delivered in 2 pieces. And you know, if you can envision this house being like split down the side, it comes delivered in 2 pieces, and then from there, these roof lines are hinged. So on site, they're hinged into place like that, and then you've got your finished look like that. And then the basement, we also use what's called precast, and they're the same thing. They're built in a factory. These foundations, we do a lot of times 10-foot foundations, which mean you'll have a 9-inch finished if you ever were to finish the basement. Now, what's great about doing them this way is that they come guaranteed, number 1, to be waterproof. Number 2, they come pre-installed with 2x6s, and they're already drilled out for electric and plumbing. So if you ever want to finish it, you definitely are that much easier. And being that they're already insulated, waterproofed, and pre-hung, really all you have to do for the most part is run your electrical and plumbing if you're doing a bathroom or something like that, and then sheetrock. And that's it. You know, so a lot of times we're keeping the ceilings raw because a lot of people nowadays like that, you know, sort of like loft look. But if you want, you would obviously just put sheetrock on the ceiling or a drop ceiling or something like that. But point being is that it's very easy with that type of construction if you ever wanted to finish it. Now, they again decided to keep this unfinished to keep things on a budget. But in normal cases, what we'll do is, you know, in a cape style like this, number 1, I like to remove those ridges and I like to bring the roof line all the way to the top. And you can keep actually those in place as decorative, sort of at the same time support, and then sheetrock the rest, and it then gives you the feeling as if you have 8-foot ceilings. So that's what we've been doing. But a lot of times these come finished, and you'll get 2 bedrooms and then an additional bathroom over in this area, which will service that area. So, you know, all in all, a good size. And when they're done, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths is what the norm is. Now, I was talking about customizing. You can really get sky's the limit to what your imagination is. You can really make it look like the Craftsman style, like you're seeing here, with a series of little bump outs like this. But you know, the more creative you get, obviously, the bigger the budget goes up, and that's entirely up to you on how you'd want to do that. What you saw there is sort of something like on a budget, and I'm going to show you the numbers on that, and you'll see sort of why, though. But in some scenarios, you can really custom design these any way you want. This one is done with cathedral ceilings, and this is one I created inside of my rendering software, and I did it with having a game room instead of having a traditional dining room, or I'm sorry, a traditional living room, because that's really what's popular nowadays. Doesn't mean it's popular that you want to do it, but these people wanted to do it, and this was the design I came with. This is just a different angle looking from the kitchen out, and there's that, again, game room here. Again, cathedral ceilings, skylights, and you can really get as custom as you want. This is the master suite that they made, and here is a picture of the bathroom. So point being is that you can really get as creative as you want and custom as you want, depending upon what your budget is. But what you saw there, meaning the basic scenario right here, in that particular scenario, this is what the numbers would look like, especially then tied to this lot. So the lot was 30. The house that you're seeing there with the ranch/cape style 912 pitch, doing this one as having everything finished up there. So it would be 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 2-car garage with the 10-foot basement. Again, with it comes insulated, pre-framed, and ready for finishing. And then from there, the total price of everything with the foundation and everything, just like the pictures you saw there, $125,000, which, a lot of people see that and they can't believe that that's possible. And that's one of the things that are great about A, keeping it simple, number one, and B, going modular and sort of like acting as the builder in these projects, because as you're going to see down here when I point out some of the benefits is that since you're sort of acting as the builder and you're developing it, you're going to reap all the benefits of that, and which is wealth creation in this example. So, I'm going to show you afterwards. There's a sold house that just sold recently, same exact style, sold for close to $400,000, and within, I think, like a mile of that house. So in that scenario, $210,000 of wealth creation, not to mention the fact that you obviously get the custom design, really see your dream inside your head, then using the software to help really fine-tune it, and then see it come in reality within a month period of time. It's nothing short of spectacular, and then you get to live in it. So, not too many other places that you can do that. So, the numbers are what they are. As far as tying this all together full circle, I have a new loan program that is amazing because it enables someone to get in here that normally something like this wasn't possible for just individuals who don't have a lot of cash flow available, and that's not too far of a stretch because in our area it's just a very expensive place to live. So a lot of people have enough money to pay their monthly expenditures, but saving is tough. So in this scenario, is a home run. But at any rate, total out of pocket would be just under $10,000, $9,950, and that would include your blueprints and all of your engineering and down payment and everything, soup to nuts. That's what it would cost you. So at any rate, those are the numbers, and I'm not the type of person to just throw numbers out there without backing it up. So, I told you there's a house there that sold right down, like I said, right down the street, and this house only had an acre and a half, not even an acre and a half, an acre and an eighth, really, and the one that I'm proposing here has 2.5 acres. So, and really, it's not that far away either. It's like I said, about a mile. And that one sold for, as you can see there, SP stands for sold price. That sold back in April of 2015, and you can see it was only on the market there for less than a month. So, and it sold for full price. So, pretty accurate on the numbers I came up with there, which is, again, I think 380 would be a really easy number to get for that house. So that about sums it up. You got all my contact information if you want to get in touch with me. Just wanted to give you an example of what's possible of some of the land listings that are out there right now. So give me a call if you have any questions, and we'll take it from there.